Therefore, next point, I encourage you to suspend judgment in order to embrace what God is doing now. I encourage you to suspend judgment in order to embrace what God is doing now. We shared before with you guys as well, the dysfunction of tradition and the effects that tradition has. Because when we're stuck in tradition, you could miss out on what God is actually busy doing right now. Case in point, the Pharisees. God came to bring a whole new thing. All right, that's what he came to do when he came to the earth. The Pharisees were so stuck up in their traditions and their customs and so forth, they missed what God was busy doing right there in front of them because of their tradition, because of their customs. And sometimes we as people, even as born again believers, do exactly the same thing. We tend to curse something we don't understand. Meanwhile, that thing that we don't understand could potentially be the next move of God. So I want to just bring this to light to you. So years ago, there was something called the Azusa Street, I think it was the street revivals, but it was massive revivals that were busy taking place. And if you move within like the church circles and so forth, revival is probably a word you've heard of before. All right, oh, it's time, we need a revival. We need a revival, yes. But could it possibly be that the revivals that we've seen in the past is different compared to today's revival that God wants to bring into individuals' lives? Because when one individual is lit on fire for God, that thing is going to begin to burn in their families. It's going to begin to burn in the community. It's going to begin to burn within their workplaces and so forth. And it's going to begin to spread like absolute wildfire moving forward. But for some reason, we're so stuck in what God used to do a couple of years ago that we could potentially be missing on what he wants to do right now and actually cursing what he's doing right now because we have not suspended judgment in order to embrace what God actually wants to do within our generation moving forward. Does that make sense? All right. Which leads to this next point over here. And then we're going to get into some intense lacquer stuff. All right. So the more of the right knowledge, keyword, right knowledge you possess, the more empowered you are in order to navigate through the problems of the world successfully. Because the problems are going to come irrespective of your beliefs. The rain comes or the winds come to the house that's built upon the sand and the house that's built upon the rock. The winds are going to come either way to test your foundation, to test what you are building your life upon moving forward. So what is the key? The key is to get the right knowledge moving forward. Who possesses this knowledge? The truth, who is Jesus. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. When you have knowledge of the truth, it's very difficult to be manipulated and controlled because you've already discovered the truth. You've tasted and seen that the Lord is good. You know who your source is. You know who your strength is. I mean, Joshua in the Old Testament, Joshua 24, also one of my favorite verses, he says, well, listen, guys, for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, but you guys must make a decision. Because at some point, there's a decision that's going to have to be made. Like who you're going to serve. This day I put before you life and death, blessing and curses. So therefore, choose life. But the decision is with God's people. God's not going to make certain decisions for us. Those decisions, they lie with us. But God is there to direct, to give us leadership, to give us guidance, to give us insight, and so forth. All right? So the more of the right knowledge you possess, the more empowered you are to navigate through the problems of the world successfully. When you understand and know that in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, he has overcome the world, it causes you to approach life a lot differently compared to if you didn't know that. What does God say? My people, Isaiah 4 verse 6, my people perish for a lack of knowledge.